What's going on, YouTubes? We have a super special recap today. We had an insane day today, biggest day of 2023 for me on the scam squeeze up. I want to go over this stuff super long, super detailed with you guys. So this morning, let's start with the SPY. Now, we had some zones and POC points of interest here that were huge scam up levels, right? Once these algos, we'll do the Q algo too, were recouped as support, and volume profiles were support, this was going to be Squeeze City. Now, to start, we'll bring up this dude here and our channels. Now, here's where our large prior volume zones were. So again, we're looking at the prior day, right? Back over here. Oh, drawing tool screwed up. There we go. Huge POC, double overlapping POC as I broke down with my group here this morning. And then the lower POC to this was just another secondary largest area traded. So we zoned out these two, and as the VIX was climbing up during the VIX open, we were looking for a relax, and that would have to be under the green channels, right? Well, if nothing goes under the green channels, we're obviously looking for a squeeze back above. We use these as over under channels, and we identified a very interesting marker on the VIX. And I want to talk about this real fast. Now, the VIX started decimating all on pre-market here, right? So check this guy out. Down, 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 down. Past gap, coming from
Order
the plus
filled.
one deviation all the way back down to the half deviation before it opened, right? So we don't have any of this data quite yet. Now, that's really important for a couple things now. The VIX draining from 1270 all the way down till it closes at 815 Central. But what did the market do? Absolutely nothing. Look at the markets. Zero, zilch, nothing, consolidation. That is a pre-programmed algo manipulation run. So when this happens, the algos will grab on to a 10 SMA or a 9 EMA. It'll just hold tight and it will hug it all the way until Euro close 10:30 a.m. Central. So that was a force up. So we had seen this kind of coming in pre, and then all of a sudden the gap down happened. So this big gap. Now we've been preaching the VIX to 1228 now for a couple days. That is a gap that has not filled. So if you look back here, that gap still has to hit, right? So when it opened up, I said, man, this is going to be an interesting one because VIX had already wiped out all pre-market and then started on a gap down. So if VIX never comes back up to fill that early gap to go down, we are in a very big manipulated zone because VIX will open up, do absolutely nothing all day and just kind of teeter towards the marker it's supposed to hit, which is 1228, and never actually go to it. And you're just going to see these huge force ups all day, and that's what we got, right? So outside of the volume profile zones, what did we see up here? Well, we said it was going to be a scam up, and we identified that above the POCs here on TOS. So let's go over those. So the channels that we have right here are the POCs. Anything that says above or below, always POC for above or below. These are 15 minutes. Here's an algo on Qs. So whenever we see a big, nasty order candle, we pay attention to the body. We always look right. So we're going to chart that body out, and that's going to be a huge indicator for up or down. Now, initially, I was looking for a little bit of a pop to short until 17K on NQ. And then if it wanted to turn around and give us some opportune, moves at 17K for a lower high short, perfect. By all means. If not, it was going to squeeze out of these zones right here and go nuts all the way to 409.83. And we identified this super early, super early, and it was above these POCs. Let's go to the 5-minute real quick so we can see. Sorry, my drawing tool is just garbo here. So let's look at the 15-minute POC. Now we're looking at it on a 5-minute chart. So we came up and a couple huge instances happened. The VIX opened up at a big gap down, magneting to the lower. We also seen that it started breaking past resistance, and this is what made me jump into NQ long, full position size, 22 contracts actually at one point in time because we had no resistance. When there's an algo force up, right, when there's a scam up, you got to go to the 1 minute. There's nothing else to use. So let's go this real quick, and I just want to put this up for you guys so you know what it looks like on these charts. So we're going to put a simple moving average here, and it's the 9. It doesn't matter if it's the 9 or the 10. Simple, I usually use 10. You can use 9 on an EMA. It doesn't really matter. 10, 9 to be very close. On the 1 minute chart, you are not going to see price action go underneath this line until after 10:30. That is the algo protocol. That's what they always run. That's the scam. It's very simple. We've been identifying these since 2017 all day live. So here's your 10 SMA, and look at the price action. Straight through, squeeze, consolidation, squeeze, consolidation, squeeze. 10:30 a.m. Central, right here. Boom, called the top 2 hours before it happened, ranged all the way back down to support. Now, it doesn't matter what happens after that. That's just where you start looking at getting out of your longs and short watches, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter what it wants to do after that. But when it comes up to it, right, that run up is algo controlled, just like VIX is. So if I go to VIX, you're going to see the exact same thing except opposite. Look at the VIX. Absolutely magneted to the moving average, right? And that was another precursor for pre-market to go, okay, well, if we are above these volume profile zones, we are going to get scammed up pretty hard here. And we identified this early, and we'll go back to the 5 minute for me. And this is one of the last key points of interest where we double over there, where we had a zero respect for resistance. So when I started seeing zero respect for resistance, a 100 EMA 5 minute is a very good over under point. So here's my 100 EMA. Okay, lower VWAP was hit and center VWAP. So we have a breakover of not only the 10 SMA and the 5 minute, the VWAP center and the 100 EMA melted up for 15, pushed into the orange VWAP and did absolutely nothing. These are all precursors for an absolute scam up manipulation proof because it did not respect any resistance to the slightest for a single second. For a single second, this sucker just deathly squeezed up, right? And I identified that right here. So if that blows through the 100 EMA, I got to go along to the NQ and run it all the way up. So that's what I did. I jumped in. We've seen SPY doing this. We have the Qs. Now remember the algo here on Qs, same exact demographic. The white channels you see here are 15-minute and 5-minute POCs. Now notice the Qs. Squeeze right through the 100 EMA, right through the purple VWAP, right after support on the lower WAP band. And I said the 15-minute max are what you got to pay attention to here if we don't get any turnaround, because they are absolutely primed and jacked up for a long. And they've been doing that since the VIX had zero reaction of pre-market. Remember the VIX going down, 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 down. Why didn't the market pop? Because it was saving the scam up till open, right? So look at this. MAC was gearing up, baby. RSI was gearing up, absolutely zero reaction till open, because that's where that scam is, right? They're going to look. We're going to look for those zones to be over under support resistance on TradingView. Now, when we came over here, now let's look at where we took those trades on those futures. Now, NQ, I had to jump in right away. When I see the force up, man, it just blew through the 100 EMA. Okay, I got to swap. And this was all about 17K. So I wanted to short into 17K, come back down to the 15-minute 200 SMA. That was all I was looking for a scalp. Okay, it didn't work, no big deal. Slammed up, and this is over under levels, right? 17K. I waited till even here for MNQ to even start a short, right? And then I seen it plow through the VWAP and 100 EMA. I'm like, no way, I got to swap, got to swap, got to swap. So I hot swapped right to NQs and rode the NQ literally from 17,006 all the way to 17,050 on 3 major position sizes. Okay. And that netted us $24,000. Really, it's 23,800 and something is what we posted. So we just had an absolute monster day. Monster P&L. We posted this one in chat. We walked through the entire trade with my group here as a force up. Okay. And then when the algo shut down, that is 10:30-ish. And this is where you want to start looking short in between 10 and 10:30 because the euro close comes off. So where would you go? Well, you would short the top around 10:30, looking for any hard open closes above the new volume area high, which is the orange level, to come all the way down to the VWAP center. The VWAP center is going to be the first sign of back tested support that we have had since the algo force up. These algo force ups last till euro close. That is how the programs rotate. So 10:30 on the central, we need a back test of what? We need a back test of the VWAP. We need a back test of 100 EMA. We got to come all the way back down here, but it only is going to happen after 10:30 central. And I've stressed this a million times in my private group, and I told everybody this. You guys really caught that. I'm sure you guys are in the short right now anyway, but I do got to calm these down. So volume profile, or call these out rather, was another big one. So again, precursor, 15-minute volume profile. Look at this blow through right here. These were huge volume areas on the 15-minute snap through, VWAP snap through, 100 EMA snap through. I'm like, okay, we're going to get it. Here's the last indicator that I had seen where this force up could take place, and it was on Q's volume bar at open. So let's take a peek at this real fast. You see the volume in pre-market? We had a load right here. Why am I not? We'll get it closer. Here we go. No, it's still there. Either way, it's right here, 7:30 a.m. central candle. Boom. Okay, so that was a load candle right here as well, where the volume was beat out and pressed. So all these higher lows led up to that squeeze because we did have a green 15-minute volume close taller than everything else here in pre-market. That's 7:30 a.m. central candle. So what's the next short? Like I said, we watched the Qs. So you come all the way up to 10:30 and you watch for the retrace back down to what? Center VWAP. Now again, the futures, I don't trade the futures for the futures chart. I actually trade the futures off the Qs. So you would have shorted this up here on NQ all the way until Qs hit the VWAP. NQ doesn't actually matter. The indicators NQ, they're all just very jumbled and crappy. They don't work out nearly as well. They always slip through moving averages, slip through support resistance. They never work out the way they're supposed to work out, which is fine. It doesn't matter. We trade off Qs and SPY when we trade the futures. So I literally activate all futures trades off of Qs and SPY. I do not care what the actual futures are doing. It does not matter to me one bit because the market will lead them. So yeah, that is it. So we just had a monster day, and I just wanted to really go over every single squeeze point that we've seen in those volume profile squeezes, the hidden volume, and the algo buy up, especially VIX. VIX was a big one. So what do you look for? Well, VIX still hasn't hit the blue level, I don't think. Nope, absolutely not. So we are still going to get scammed up in these as the lower high develops after 1030. So you're going to wait for VIX to hit here and then potentially have a little bit of a bounce to come chase down the opening gap, which is going to lead you to about $12.48. So I would not touch literally anything over here quite yet short, even though your short bias comes after 10-10-30. Now, we could have did the top here, right here, where you had a pretty big reduction in move here. I think you had over 15 points, but let's see here. The Qs, my drawing tool would ever die off. Yeah, over that, all the way down to the VWAP of Qs, yeah, 34 points. Yeah, so you had a really easy lower high after 10-10-30 coming all the way down to Qs VWAP. We always use those VWAP extensions. So with that being said, that is the easy peasy trade, man. And that is a hell of a way to close out 2023. Tune in for the next.